Good evening, YouTube, and welcome back to another episode here at WILDMAN Lives. I'm your host, WILDMAN. Now on today's episode, I'm doing the back squat and I'm adding the chains to this implement to make this a different kind of a lift. I'm also going to be doing some weighted pull-ups and some weighted step-ups as my giant set format. So I'll show you how that works in a minute. Now the reason why I'm doing the back squat today, because if you've been watching my YouTube channel long enough and recently, you'll take a look and be like, he's not been doing back squat lately, he's been slacking in that area. Well, there's a reason for that, and the first reason is because I'm trying to work on my deadlift, and sometimes doing heavy back squats shuts down my central nervous system, where I start to not be able to do so well on my deadlift training. So that's reason number one. And reason number two is I've been having some hip impingement lately in my left hip, so I've been trying to focus on that. And it doesn't hurt when I do deadlift, but it definitely hurts and I feel it when I do back squats. And that's the only lift that I do where I feel it in my hip. And since it interferes with my deadlift days and I'm trying to hit a specific goal with that, I've had to take a back seat on the back squat. But I'm throwing the chains on today in order to mitigate that kind of central nervous system fatigue and this hip impingement. And I'm going to try to actually use this to get better at the deadlift, as are my weighted pull-ups and my weighted step-ups. All these things are going to help me hit my PR on my deadlift that I'm trying to reach. And once I hit that PR for deadlift, I'll try to maintain that number, and then I'll start working on the back squat to get to my former PR, which I had before I had my bicep surgery and had to take all that time off. So the sun's getting kind of low right now, so we are going to get into darkness. So I'm going to stop talking everybody's ears off, and I'm going to get started on the workout. So let's jump into it right now. So for today's giant set, like I said, I'm doing the back squat. And later, I'll be adding chains to this implement. And in between my back squats, I'm also going to be doing some pull-ups. Now, I know I said weighted pull-ups, but I weighed myself recently, and I'm actually 10 pounds heavier than I was the last time I did pull-ups. So technically, this is weighted pull-ups, and I'm using that fat bar as well to really work my grip because it's harder to hold. And I'm also going to be doing some weighted step-ups. I'm going to be concentrating on working those obliques, my shoulder mobility, my back, and my quads mainly. And this is great isolation work to do for your legs and to prime your legs as you're getting heavier in weight. And that's going to be the giant set for today. Like I said, I'm going to be adding those chains as well in order to train to get better. Now, the reason why I'm doing this with chains with the back squat is because, like I said, I'm mainly trying to focus on the deadlift. And doing all three of these movements in giant set actually help my deadlift a lot. But I don't want to overload my central nervous system where I can't do deadlifts, because that's where I'm trying to really stretch my central nervous system fatigue, is on deadlift day and on no other lifting day. And for a while, the back squat was the only lift that was causing pain in my left hip. It was giving me probably a hip impingement, and it was just irritating those nerves every time I was doing this particular lift. So I took some time off, which is step number one if you're lifting heavy. If something's starting to hurt and you ignore it for a while, but then it starts to hurt even more where you can't lift, take some time off. I know it's hard, but trust me, if you take some time off, it'll actually let your body and those nerves not be so inflamed anymore. And then once that time period is done and you've recovered and it doesn't hurt anymore, then you can do some little exercises to make sure that that hip, or in my case, my hip, is able to be more mobile and is not inflamed anymore. And then you'll be surprised just how much better you can be. And taking that time off might actually help you improve your lift, which, spoiler alert, that's what happened on this lifting session. I took some time off from doing the back squat, and instead I did variation lifts. So I was doing movements that wouldn't hurt my hip, such as the leg press, or front squats, or using the SSB wide hands because it works a different part of the body, and doing yoke walks and farmer carries. So I was still getting plenty of leg work while letting that hip impingement heal up with some time off. And once it was done, then I did some physical therapy movements in order to get it mobilized and strong again in those little tiny fibers within my hip. And now that I'm back, I'm feeling pain-free, and it feels absolutely great because I've missed doing this workout. So for today, I just want to see how far I can go without any gear on. I don't want to put knee sleeves on. I don't want to put a belt on. I just kind of want to see how heavy I can go with the chains, because it won't push me to my max if it's just straight weight on a normal barbell. that weight gets a lot easier once you get down to the bottom of the lift. And it makes it a lot easier to explode back up and try to get some momentum, so when the chains do start to decompress from off the ground, then you're able to shoot through that and move through it quickly and lift more amount of weight once you get to the top. And this shouldn't zap my central nervous system too much, so the next time I go back to do deadlifts, I can still maintain my program, which is lifting heavier more frequently with the deadlift. Now, it's going to be completely honest with you, the plan was actually to put a belt and knee sleeves on right around the 320 pounds total mark. But everything was feeling good without any gear on, so I wanted to see where I was at without any gear. That just seemed to be a healthy direction to go in. And my plan here is just to control the implement the entire time. And this goes up very smoothly because I just was taking my time and maintaining that control. So I was very happy with that. I could have even gone up higher if I wanted to, but why do that? This is a great place to start after taking so much time off and really taking that time to make sure that my hip was healthy before I continued on doing the back squat. Oh, okay, so let me explain why this lift was so significant. So this is 400 pounds total, and I'm pretty proud of that because it was 360 pounds on the bar plus those 40-pound drop chains that decompressed completely into the ground. That made it 400 pounds total. And I did that with no belt and no knee sleeves. And that's significant because the last time I tried to do this, when I was trying to improve my deadlift, I ended up getting a lot of hip pain and had to take a lot of time off from both the deadlift and the back squat due to that hip pain. So the fact that I stopped doing back squat and did variation squats instead while working on my deadlift, because that didn't seem to hurt my hip. Now that I've taken that time off and I started doing little exercises to try to build that hip strength back up, now I'm able to do this pretty much in powerlifting terms, raw, meaning I don't need to wear any protective equipment when I'm lifting this implement. So that is absolutely ginormous for me, and I will take that any day. And like I said, the sun is like pretty much gone by now. Around this time of year, right when dusk starts, you get like 30 minutes of daylight left before it's completely dark. So we're going to finish this workout in the dark, and I'm not going to be an idiot and wear sunglasses because I won't see what I'm doing. So let's finish the workout and keep on getting better. Now for the variation giant set, I was doing 3 rounds and I was doing the front squat. And the reason why I'm doing the front squat is for 3 reasons. The first reason is it's the perfect antagonistic or opposing muscle groups movement for the back squat. Your back squat is going to work your posterior chain a lot, and the front squat is going to work your anterior chain. And that is going to be how you're going to keep yourself balanced and to reduce the likelihood of injury, since both planes of your body are balanced muscularly. The second reason is because for that same reason that the front squat is great for the back squat, it's also great and improves your deadlift. It's a great antagonistic muscle group to work for the deadlift, but it also improves your deadlift as well. And the last reason I'm doing this is because I really wanted to hit my quads. I feel like since I haven't been doing back squats, I haven't been getting that same quad work that I have when I do back squats. So I wanted to make sure that I was hitting that today, and front squats is the best way to hit those quads. And I just continued to do the fat grip pull-ups in between, and I also continued to do the weighted step-ups as well, just to finish on an even number by the time I was done with the strength and variation giant set. Now I didn't do any assistance work, so I did the accessory giant set, which is going to include the supination curls that you've seen me do on my channel to really work those biceps. And I also did hitchhikers for shoulder mobility to make sure that I'm evenly balanced in my shoulders. And then I recently recommended to somebody with knee pain to do these Bulgarian split squats with a static hold. It actually improves your knees, so that way you can feel less knee pain. And I thought, well shoot, when's the last time I've done these? So I'm going to go ahead and bust these out on tonight's workout just to make sure I'm well balanced all around. All right, everybody, so that concludes tonight's workout. Unfortunately, the night has fallen and it's getting a little cold out here, so it's time to wrap it up. I hope everybody learned a little bit more about how you can lift heavy, but also reduce the likelihood of injury as you train, using my own personal experience. Until next time, thank you.